Right now, there's a bottle of water sitting in your fridge that you trust more than tap water. You paid extra for it. You told yourself it was the healthy choice, and there's a real chance it's just filtered tap water wearing a $2 costume. Or worse, water that scientists at Columbia University recently found contains an average of 240,000 invisible plastic particles per liter, not per case, per bottle. Some of the brands sitting in your pantry right now have been hit with FDA recalls for bacteria and heavy metals. One brand was linked to liver failure so severe that a man in his 20s needed a transplant. Another spent decades in court over whether the word spring on its label meant anything at all. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 13 brands to stop buying immediately and which 5 are genuinely worth your money. Some of these answers will surprise you. Let's start with the worst offenders, counting down from 13. Number 13. Propel. Let's start with the brand that shouldn't even be filed under water. Real water has one ingredient. Propel has more than a dozen, including 2 artificial sweeteners, acesulfame potassium and sucralose, that have been tied in various studies to headaches, digestive discomfort, and metabolic disruption when consumed regularly. Add in potassium sorbate as a preservative and a sodium count that eats into a meaningful chunk of your daily limit, and you're left with something closer to a diet soda that forgot to add flavor. If you're buying this to hydrate better, you're better off with actual water and an electrolyte tablet. You control yourself. Number 12. Aquafina. Aquafina is the best-selling bottled water in America by volume, and for years, that success was built on a myth. PepsiCo let people believe this water came from protected natural sources until it was forced to disclose the truth. Aquafina is purified municipal water, the same water that comes out of your tap, run through a filtration process and sold back to you at a steep markup. That alone isn't a health crime. Purified tap water is fine. The problem is paying premium prices for something you could get from your own faucet for fractions of a cent, while the marketing quietly implied otherwise. Number 11. Dasani. Coca-Cola's Dasani has carried its own baggage since a 2004 UK recall when a batch was pulled after testing revealed elevated bromate, a byproduct that can form during the ozonation step of water treatment and is classified as a possible human carcinogen at high exposure levels over time. Like Aquafina, Dasani starts as municipal water, gets stripped of nearly everything through reverse osmosis, and then has a manufactured mineral blend added back in, magnesium sulfate, potassium chloride, and salt. Purely for taste. You're not getting naturally occurring minerals here. You're getting a recipe. Number 10. Nestlé Pure Life, now under Blue Triton. Pure Life built its business on drawing from public groundwater sources around the world, often in regions where water access was already a sensitive issue. In 2023, a United Nations Special Rapporteur publicly accused the company's water operations of contributing to resource depletion in vulnerable communities. Nestlé eventually sold off its North American water brands, including Pure Life, to a private equity-backed company now known as Blue Triton. But the sourcing practices in factories didn't change overnight, just because the name on the ownership documents did. Number 9. Poland Spring. Here's a brand with one of the longest-running controversies in the bottled water industry. A sprawling class-action lawsuit, first filed in 2017, alleges that not one drop of Poland Spring water actually comes from a natural spring, claiming instead that it's pumped from ordinary groundwater wells, with some sites located near current or former landfills, refuse pits, and petroleum dump sites. Nestlé, and now its successor, have repeatedly denied wrongdoing and pointed to independent audits confirming the water meets FDA spring water standards. But the case has survived multiple attempts at dismissal and remains unresolved years later. When a spring water label is still being fought over in federal court after nearly a decade, that's reason enough to be skeptical. Number 8. Arrowhead. Arrowhead has operated since 1894, but its more recent history includes a messy detail. For years, the company continued bottling water in California's San Bernardino Mountains under a permit that had technically expired back in 1988, drawing criticism from environmental groups and eventually a U.S. Forest Service review during a period of extreme regional drought. Consumers have also reported inconsistent taste across different source springs, with some batches showing a metallic or mineral-heavy flavor that can indicate elevated iron or manganese. Reliable sourcing shouldn't be this complicated for something this basic. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of 90% of shoppers who've never questioned what's actually in their water bottle. Hit subscribe now because we're about to get into brands with real, documented health incidents, not just marketing complaints. And drop a comment telling me which brand on this list surprised you the most. Let's keep going. Number 7. Starkey Spring Water, Whole Foods. This one stings because it comes from a store famous for banning hundreds of questionable ingredients. Starkey is sourced from a geothermal spring in Idaho, and geothermal water often carries naturally elevated arsenic. In 2020, independent lab testing by Consumer Reports found arsenic levels close to the FDA's legal limit of 10 parts per billion. A level Consumer Reports itself has argued is too permissive, recommending a much lower threshold of around 3 parts per billion for genuine safety. Whole Foods has since worked to reduce arsenic levels, but the water's naturally high pH can still be a concern for anyone managing kidney issues. Number 6. Smart Water. Smart Water never claimed to be spring water, so credit where it's due on that front. But the smart branding implies some kind of scientific edge that doesn't hold up under scrutiny. It starts as purified water, often municipal, with electrolytes added back in for taste. Independent lab comparisons have repeatedly found no meaningful mineral or health advantage over ordinary filtered tap water. You're paying $2 a bottle largely for the packaging and the name. Number 5. Core Hydration. Core built an entire marketing campaign around perfect pH and A-list celebrity endorsements, while staying notably quiet about its actual water source, which, when finally scrutinized, turned out to be municipal water treated with reverse osmosis. The brand's claim that it restores your body's natural pH balance doesn't reflect how digestion actually works. Stomach acid neutralizes whatever pH you drink almost immediately. Most U.S. tap water already sits in the same 7.2 to 7.5 pH range Core advertises as a premium feature. Number 4. Essentia. Essentia leans hard into the idea of super hydration through ionized, high alkaline water pushed up to a pH of 9.5 or higher. There is no solid clinical evidence that alkaline water improves hydration beyond what regular water does. More concerning, drinking large amounts of very high pH water can, in rare cases, disrupt your body's potassium balance and contribute to hyperkalemia, a condition that can affect heart rhythm. For a billion-dollar brand, the health claims rest on shakier science than the price tag would suggest. Number 3. Penta Ultra Purified Water. Penta markets a 13-step purification process, and technically, that's true. This is about as free of contaminants as bottled water gets, but that's also the problem. The same process that strips out contaminants also strips out every naturally occurring mineral, including calcium and magnesium. Long-term reliance on demineralized water as your primary hydration source without compensating through diet has been associated with mineral deficiencies that can contribute to muscle cramping and, in more extreme long-term cases, bone density issues. Penta quietly dropped most of its health benefit marketing years ago after facing scrutiny, a telling sign in itself. Number 2. Real Water. This is the most serious brand on this entire list, and it's not close. In 2021, the FDA and CDC investigated a cluster of acute non-viral hepatitis cases in Nevada linked to Real Water's alkaline water, including 5 hospitalized children. The company issued a Class 1 recall, the FDA's most serious classification, reserved for products with a reasonable probability of causing serious harm or death. Real Water Inc. was later forced to cease operations entirely, and a Nevada jury awarded roughly $130 million in damages to victims who suffered liver damage, including one man who needed a liver transplant in his 20s. If you have any bottles of this brand anywhere in your home, this isn't a consider switching moment. Throw it out immediately. Number 1. Fiji Water. Fiji built a premium reputation and a permanent spot at award shows and celebrity events, but in 2024, nearly 1.9 million bottles were recalled after internal testing found elevated manganese, along with 3 separate types of bacteria. The FDA ultimately classified it as a lower severity Class 3 recall, and Fiji says it recovered the vast majority of affected stock. Still, This wasn't Fiji's first contamination scare. Arsenic concerns have surfaced in past independent testing too, and a pending class action lawsuit separately accuses the brand of falsely marketing itself as natural artesian water, while allegedly containing microplastics. When your most expensive water keeps landing in FDA recall databases, the price tag stops meaning quality. Okay, that's the naughty list. 13 brands you should be actively avoiding. But don't panic and swear off bottled water altogether, because there are brands doing this right. If this video is opening your eyes even a little, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this reach more people before they buy the wrong bottle at the gas station. Now let's talk about the 5 brands actually worth your money. Number 5. Icelandic Glacial, sourced from the Ölfus Spring in Iceland. This water travels through centuries of natural lava rock filtration before it ever reaches a bottle. That process gives it a naturally higher pH, typically around 8.4, without any artificial alkalizing agents added after the fact. Iceland's bottling operations also run on renewable geothermal and hydroelectric power, making this one of the more genuinely sustainable options on shelves. It's won multiple international taste awards, and unlike half the brands on our avoid list, there's nothing to untangle about where this water actually comes from. Number 4. San Pellegrino. Sourced from the Alps in northern Italy, San Pellegrino goes through decades of natural underground filtration, emerging rich in calcium, magnesium, bicarbonates, and potassium. The naturally occurring minerals that flavored enhanced waters try to fake with additives. Its natural carbonation isn't just a texture choice either. Sparkling mineral water has been associated in some studies with improved digestion and a feeling of fullness, which is part of why it's such a popular pairing with meals across Europe. It's also, ounce for ounce, often cheaper than several of the flat waters on this list. Number 3. Evian. Evian has stayed the best-selling mineral water in Europe for good reason. Every bottle undergoes a filtration process spanning roughly 15 years as it moves through the French Alps, picking up calcium, magnesium, bicarbonates, and silica along the way. Unlike a lot of the brands we covered earlier, Evian has never needed to hide its sourcing. It's the entire foundation of the brand. If you want spring water that actually tastes like the marketing promises, this is one of the few that consistently delivers. Number 2. Mountain Valley Spring Water. First bottled in 1871 from a protected spring in Arkansas's Ouachita Mountains, Mountain Valley has built a loyal following that includes long use in government buildings and among elite athletes who care about mineral content. It's naturally rich in calcium, magnesium, and potassium, filtered through granite rather than volcanic rock, which tends to produce a cleaner, less mineral-heavy taste. And because it comes in glass rather than plastic, you sidestep the microplastic and leaching concerns tied to nearly every plastic bottled brand on this list entirely. Number 1.
Topo Chico.
Sourced from a spring near Monterrey, Mexico, that's been in continuous use since long before bottled water was a global industry. Topo Chico has earned a genuine cult following for a reason. It's naturally carbonated straight from the source, rather than injected afterward, and it carries a distinct mineral profile, including calcium, magnesium, and sodium bicarbonate, without any added flavoring or sweeteners. It's owned by Coca-Cola now, but unlike Dasani, the brand has kept its original natural source and sourcing transparency intact, rather than switching to purified municipal water. For genuinely mineral-rich, naturally sparkling water with real transparency behind it, this is our top pick. So there you have it. 13 bottled water brands with real documented problems, from false advertising lawsuits to FDA recalls to a case that led to a liver transplant, and 5 brands actually worth reaching for the next time you're at the store. The bottom line, read past the label. Spring, smart, and pure are marketing words, not guarantees. What matters is the actual source, the actual filtration method, and whether the company has ever had to answer to a regulator or a courtroom about what's really in the bottle. If this video saved you from grabbing the wrong brand next time you're shopping, do 3 things right now. Hit subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. Drop a like so more people see this before their next grocery run, and comment below with the brand you're switching to. We read every single one. Water should be the simplest, safest thing you put in your body, not something you need a lawsuit database to trust. Before you grab another case at the store, remember, check the source, not just the slogan. If you want to know what's really hiding in the healthy food sitting in your pantry right now, click the video on your screen. Because water isn't the only thing wearing a health halo it hasn't earned. I'll see you in the next one.